talk about, the movie was pretty intense. Who liked the movie?
Do you believe in the cross of Christ?
I wanted to kind of put this in there because the guy gets healed from cancer at the end. The guy gets healed from cancer. I can personally tell you that miracles like that happen. Because I don't know if I've told you guys this story about my dad. I get a phone call from my dad like 3 years ago. And basically, they told me he had a massive heart attack and he wasn't going to live. They called me, I don't know how many days in a row. You need to come out here because your dad's not going to make it through the night. That doctor says the same thing. Here's your heart. Problem is we try to go in there and we open it up, you're going to die. If we don't open it up, you're going to die. My dad calls me up and this is the first time I've ever heard my dad kind of defeated. My dad called me, he's like, "Mijo, you need to come down here. I just want to tell you I love you in case I'm not able to tell you I love you tomorrow," and things like that. So I tell my dad, no, I'm not coming down there. I pray and I tell my wife, I'm not going down to watch my dad die. My dad's not going to die. It's just the way it is. So I prayed and 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 I prayed, and it felt like God wasn't listening to me because my brother would call me and be like, "Oh, your dad, my dad's going to die." I'm like, I'm not coming down there. He was ready to send me some money to fly out there. I mean, it was just a very, very trying week. I stood up that Sunday in church and I said, "Please pray for my dad. They're saying he's not going to make it." That Monday, I get a phone call from my brother. The doctor just took dad in for another x-ray. They want to make sure that there's no surgeries or anything like that they can do to save his life. The doctor comes back into the hospital, tells my dad, "We don't know what happened." He brought in the x-ray from when my dad came in and brought in the x-ray from that day. The x-ray from when my dad came in was dead. The heart was dead. There was nothing there. It was just terrible. It was a bad heart. The heart that they brought in that they took that morning, the doctor said it was the heart of a 20-year-old. All of his valves were open. The heart was beating strong. The doctor's mind was blown. He said, "I can let you go home tomorrow. We're going to observe you tonight. Tomorrow, you can go home. There's no reason for you to be here. Your heart is fine." They ran all kinds of blood work, all kinds of tests, just to tell my dad, "You can go home tomorrow. Your heart is completely new. Brand new." I like to attribute it to the fact that I said I wasn't going to go down to bury my father, and Jesus honored that. That's what I like to say. Whenever I see the stories like that, it actually emotionally touches me because I know that things like that happen, even though we don't see them every day, and we can't figure out why God chooses to heal one man but not the other. You know? We can't figure it out, you know? But I know that it can happen. I know that even if my father had died that week, he was healed no matter what. But, thankfully, Jesus was like, "I'm not going to take you, son." Boom. Left him here. So, when I saw that part of the movie, I could actually kind of relate to it. What parts of the movie did you find touched you the most?
Like the whole pregnant girl thing and like the whole situation with that.
So you liked the compassionate part?
Yeah.
Being compassionate. We look at the movie, the girl was pregnant and homeless. And here these guys, this preacher is, who ironically apparently can't have children. Whatever. What can we do to be that compassionate? Are we that compassionate? Do we have that much compassion in our hearts that we could say, "I want to help this person today"? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You know, that's what being loving is about. You know, looking at someone and saying, "You know what? If that was my sister, I would want somebody to take her in." Anybody else get anything out of the movie? Yes.
Where they all come together end to end, like they all just
that was cool. What I would get from that, now mind you, my mind doesn't think normally.
The church coming together.
Yes. It kind of brings back like the gathering together of the saints. You know, everybody in this world, we all have different lives to live, but in the end, we're all living for the same thing. We're all living for an end result that's either going to be promising or damning. You know? And at the end of that movie, all the saints kind of in the same place, and they're like, yo, it's a miracle. And they're like, oh, we survived a crash. But God brought them all back together so we could see how we are all interconnected. Which to me was one of the coolest parts. At the end, when that whole big car crash thing, how everybody was interconnected with each other. Everybody throughout this life, as we go through life, we are going to be interconnected with people. There's going to be people in heaven that we're going to touch that we've never even talked to. That is an amazing, amazing thing to think about. Yes?
I had a part that I liked.
Well, okay.
The firefighter dude, yeah. I like how he ended up saving
The lady who wanted to destroy him?
Wasn't she
Yes.
the lawyer and he was
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember the story in the Bible of the man that was possessed?
Yes. Yeah.
That part of the story reminded me of that story in the Bible. When the demons in the possessed man asked God not to destroy them, when they asked Jesus, please don't destroy me, and Jesus was like, okay, I won't destroy you. What would you like me to do with you? And they're like, throw us into these pigs, and we will drown them in the lake. So Jesus is like, aight. So he throws them into the pigs, and they drown themselves. He could have easily have destroyed those demons and sent them right back to hell where they came from. But it was his single act of mercy, even on the ones who would try to destroy him, that shows God's great mercy.
Wow.
What greater mercy is that than the demons that are not only trying to destroy you, but destroy the temple that you have built? And he's like, okay, I won't destroy you. Maybe not this time. If I come across you next week, son, you're done. You know? But that is mercy. And that's kind of what when I was watching the movie, that's kind of what I got from that scene was, you know what? It's the mercy of God that lives in us. That even when people would try to destroy who we are as men and women of God, we can still have mercy on them. We can still show them grace. Because that might be the only opportunity they get to see God's love. And what did it do to that lady in the movie? What happened to her in the end? She realized she was wrong. Whenever I think about that encounter with those demons, how he could have easily destroyed them in that instant, and he chose not to. Because those demons, they didn't die. They weren't destroyed. If a person is demon-possessed and they die, those demons are free to roam to whoever they want to go to. Satan's like, all right, we done killed this one. Let's send you over here. And to me, I think, you know what? That's mercy from Christ. Now, I believe that Jesus probably got them demons somewhere down the road. He was like, yeah, you can run, but you can't hide. And then the military guy, man, that was tough too. That guy was fighting his own set of demons. But, okay, so in that instance, what we kind of see is a man who is mentally fighting something internally that he's trying to fight by himself. A lot of men and women, when they come out of the military, they're bred to be strong. You know, when they're in there, they are taught that, hey, I cannot break. So whenever they have this moment where they're breaking, they don't want to go to anybody because, you know, that means that they're not strong. And they end up fighting battles themselves that they can't fight. But we all know that who can fight those battles for us? Who?
Jesus.
Jesus can fight those battles for us. Now, I know myself, I find myself in positions all the time where I try to do things on my own. Like, I'm like, you know what? I don't need nobody's help for this. It turns out I do. Because I'm not as strong as I think I am. I really believe that movie was all about grace. and mercy. The movie God's Not Dead. The pastor kind of has this non-belief in what God is doing. See, the movie was titled Do You Believe? And it was a really good movie, really powerful. But I think the premise of even like all these Christian movies that I've seen, the last 3 that I've seen, is really testing us. Do we really believe what we say we believe in? From a Christian standpoint, how much do we truly believe in grace and mercy? Do you really believe what you read in your Bible? Do I really believe that Jesus is alive? Do I really believe that Jesus can heal me? Do I really believe that there's a heaven? Do I really believe that there's a hell? That's really, I think, what these movies are getting us to think about, is do we really believe? Because let's be honest. Let's think about the Christian faith for a minute. It's so easy to believe that it's a fantasy. Because I've never physically seen Jesus. But yet I ask people every day to follow him. Whenever we say we believe in something that no one else can really physically see, what do they physically see in us when we say we believe? Do they see doubt? Where do you sit? Where do you stand? Do you believe that God so loved the world that he sent his only son to die for you? No, wait, back up. Do you believe that he actually sent his son to die for others? What is the world looking at? We could quote scriptures all day long. I'm sure, especially those of you who have been raised in church, you probably know scriptures out the yin-yang that can prove that the Bible is real, but do you believe in what you're saying? Do you believe in the power of repentance? Do you believe in grace and mercy? Do you believe in forgiveness? Whenever we are going out in this world, we can't have the world see us as non-believers who say they believe. If I don't really believe what I'm talking about, if I don't really believe in God, I'm going to teach you guys false belief. If I'm leading you to believe the way I believe and I don't really believe, where do you think we're all going to end up? That's what I gather from the movie is, what do I really believe in? And if I say I believe in Jesus, do I really believe in Jesus? If I say I believe in heaven and hell, do I really believe in heaven and hell? I do. 125% believe in love. I believe that Jesus Christ died however many thousands of years ago it was for me. I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt, without a glimpse of doubt in my mind, that Jesus died for every single one in this world. I believe it 100%. Was I always sold on it? No. Did I always say I believed in it? Yes. But I tell you right now, my life has gone from shambles to better than shambles. And I believe that it's the grace of God that brought me there. So many times in this life, I should have been dead. And I was saved. Even that didn't convince me. You know, I'd like to say that, I've seen miracles, and I remember when I got saved, how awesome it was, the vision that I had. But even then, I think, maybe I was just hyped up, But you know what? Whenever that doctor showed my dad 2 different hearts, I think to myself, how can I deny something that powerful? Not that I didn't believe up until that point, but I believe at that point in my walk with God, I was actually just finding myself back to faith. I had really kind of given up on everything. I was a lot like that, the mother in the movie, with her baby, who just lost faith in everything, whose husband took them to church every day, and then he died for no reason. I believe that would have probably been me in that story, because at that point in my life I'd really lost faith. I believed in God. I believed that God was real, but I didn't believe that he was real. Then this happens with my dad, and it's like God. That Jesus Christ will do everything he said he will do. I do. There's not a doubt in my mind. There's not a hint of doubt. I believe it 100%. Believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that God is going to do what he said he's going to do. You have to believe even when you don't feel like believing. You have to believe that it's true. Especially if we want to try to be a witness and a testimony to people in this world. We have to believe in what we're saying. God said he was going to do it, and he's going to do it. And that's the way it's going to be, because God said it's going to be that way. If we're going to believe in this thing that we call Christianity, then we have to be willing to believe it. Not deceive it, believe it. It's easy to deceive yourself in saying, I believe in something, but not really believe in it. That's why so many young Christians leave the church, because they don't really believe in the hype, because they've seen so many things in the church that have turned their stomach to what Christ really is. But in the end, you have to just look at yourself. What is it you believe in? You guys are given these tools to begin to decide for yourself what you want to believe in, how much you want to believe is true. I believe that it's all true. I believe that the Word of God is truth, and it's life, and I believe that it's for every single person in this world, even ISIS, because Jesus died for them just as well. Sometimes our belief should be making other people uncomfortable. Listen, when the Jehovah's Witnesses come to my door, I'm like, seriously? You guys don't believe in heaven or hell? Oh no, we believe in heaven. Okay, but there's no hell? Oh, no, bad people just go to sleep. Really? Because I love sleep. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. I could use some sleep. You know? I even said it because they had a new convert that day. I was like, listen, does that make sense to you? I said to her, why are you following all of their ways if you can go live like a heathen and just go to sleep? I'd rather go to sleep. I don't need to be, I don't need to be anywhere special. Put me to sleep.
Forever.
Man, I'd be an alcoholic, a drug addict. Man, I'd be a sex addict. I mean, I'd be all kinds of addicts. I'm just saying, I did say that to him. I was like, listen, I'd go out and live like the world. I'd live it up. I'd party all day long. I'd deny everything is true. And I would just go to sleep in the end. Well, listen, I party till I'm 30 and fall asleep. I'm good. Sleep till I'm 80. Except you get to play with the lions. Okay? I don't want to play with the lions. I have no desire to pet Simba.
Y'all want to pet Simba?
None. You have to believe. I think Jehovah's Witnesses are so effective because they believe in what they're saying. Same thing with Mormons. They believe in what they're saying. We need to believe in what we are saying. Do you believe was the title of the movie. I think we could all ask ourselves that today. Do we really believe? It's just food for thought. So when you go home.
So my friend
That's a
was
wrap.
talking.